I'm Aurelia, and this is my presentation on approaching conflict in romantic relationships. So, have you guys ever sent a text, maybe detailing about your day, or just plans later, only for the other person to respond with like one word, like an okay? Like, it seems they're kind of dry, and I've definitely interpreted this before as like their disinterest, and I can maybe act annoyed with them, even though it was really from nothing. It's kind of weird how that happens. So, in this presentation, um, I'll be going over communication styles, emotional fallacies, and conflict resolution. And my thesis statement is about how intentional communication, where we're able to express our own thoughts and feelings, is crucial when resolving conflict in a relationship. By understanding both our own and our partner's communication styles, as well as realizing when either of us commit emotional fallacies, it can help couples better handle like disagreements and strengthen their connection in the process. This presentation is helpful for the general public, as I think everyone can use like tips on how to handle conflict, but it's especially for romantic relationships. So, communication styles, we have direct versus indirect. I want you to think about how you show your frustrations or discomfort when dealing with a situation. So, in this example, let's say your partner cancels a date on you an hour before you guys are supposed to meet. If you're more of a direct person, you would probably bring it up. Let's say, hey, about tonight, I was looking forward to seeing you, but was disappointed when you canceled last minute. And by that initial conversation, you guys hopefully are able to talk about like your expectations and like your feelings and address like the needs that were not met. However, if you have an indirect style, you don't really bring up the conversation at all. Like maybe if your partner asks, hey, are you mad at me? You'll respond with, no, it's fine, I'm fine, even though it's not. And maybe you start sending short replies to them, or maybe act passive aggressive. I put chronemics where you don't like make time for them, or you definitely act differently. I've seen instances where people like post little notes on like social media, like on Instagram, and use that as a way to like vent how they feel, instead of like talking to the other person. And maybe you don't say how you feel until your partner asks you multiple times. So, along with being direct and indirect, there are 5 different conflict styles, where when you guys are talking about like disagreements and like trying to handle things, there's different ways to approach that. Another example situation, you are hurt that your partner seems to be spending more time with their friends and not you. So if you're avoidant, that probably goes hand in hand with indirect communication, where you don't say much about the situation. You don't bring up it to your partner, and you maybe pretend that nothing is wrong. And this definitely can build resentment because your needs are not met and your partner doesn't know that either. And then accommodation, it's a lose-win situation. You guys do bring up the issue. However, let's say you kind of excuse the behavior, like, oh, I notice you haven't been spending more time, or you've been spending more time with your friends, but I want you to be able to see them, and I think it's fine for you too, and I don't want to be clingy. This minimizes your own like need, while your partner thinks that everything is okay. So you're losing, even though like you tried to communicate that. And then in competitive, we have a win-lose, where it's more of an argument that you want to win rather than resolving the actual issue. Like, you may accuse your partner, oh, you don't care about me, you're always with your friends, and it can be like a back and forth battle between you guys. And let's say at the end, you prove that, oh, they don't care about you and they want to be with their friends. And it doesn't, even though you win the argument, you kind of lose the situation. Compromising is when you guys both lose in some way. Let's say you want to be fair, and like set up a schedule. Okay, you can hang out with them twice a week and then also me twice a week. But it doesn't really address your need of like, oh, I want to see your partner, or I want to see you. And it's very lacking. However, collaborative is a win-win, where both partners like work together to solve the problem, and it helps to foster like understanding between you two. It looks like a conversation about expectations, and like, so I want us to look at this example of an argument, and I want you to notice if you see indirectness or directness, and like what kind of conflict style do you think these characters have.
Well, I'm gonna go do the dishes.
Cool.
It'd be nice if you helped me.
No problem. We'll get them a little bit later. I'm just gonna hit the streets there for a little bit.
Gary, come on. I don't want to do them later. Let's just do them now. Take 15 minutes.
Oh, I am so exhausted. I just honestly want to relax for a little bit. If I could just sit here, let my food digest, and just try to enjoy the quiet for a little bit. Get some, get some, get some. That's what happens. And we can clean the dishes tomorrow.
Gary, you know, I don't like waking up to a dirty kitchen.
Who cares?
I care, all right? I care. I busted my ass all day cleaning this house and then cooking that meal, and I worked today. It would be nice if you said thank you and helped me with the dishes.
Fine. I'll help you do the damn dishes.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes? Why?
See, that's my whole point.
Let me see if I'm following this, okay? Are you telling me that you're upset because I don't have a strong desire to clean dishes?
No, I'm upset because you don't have a strong desire to offer to do the dishes.
I just did.
After I asked you.
So with this couple, I th- I think that the lady, she displays some indirectness. She is voicing that she is upset that he's not doing the dishes, but it's not just about the dishes. It's more about her not feeling like seen or like appreciated. Like she made that whole dinner, and when she came home, the house is still a mess. It would have been nice if he showed some sort of appreciation towards her, and like, hey, maybe I could do the dishes for her. But to him, he kind of just sees it that she's upset that he didn't do a chore, that he thought maybe I'll just do it later. And I guess the prodding on her part of, hey, let's do this now, and then she starts off calm but gets visibly more and more like intense and upset, and so he kind of gets defensive and um, tries to win the argument, like, hey, you're kind of acting crazy from me not doing the dishes. Like, I don't see what the big deal is. And for them too, it just seems like one is a little avoidant and not fully saying how she feels. Like she's more dropping hints rather than like saying things directly. And for him, he's more focused on like not being in the wrong, and it just doesn't. It's not a productive conversation between them two. And so, understanding how you and your partner style in communication, like your guys' differences, um, is good, so you guys can understand what the best way to approach a conflict is, and it can even push for like self-reflection on your part, improving communication skills between you guys. So in a cross study for gender differences, it looked at like conflict resolution styles between men and women. For men, they lean more 42% competitive, and women lean more to be compromising. And this is important because knowing, I guess, what males and females are more likely to be, it can give you guys an idea of what um, to be mindful of, and to encourage like those conversations with your partner on what you better fall into and how you can best approach each other in conflict. For emotional fallacies, I think these are the most common in relationships. And an emotional fallacy is where you kind of rely on your own emotion, and based on what you perceive, you believe that it's true. So for mind reading, you believe that you know what other people are feeling and why. This could be like, oh, my partner has been quiet. They must be mad at me. Um, you kind of base an assumption from something that you observe, but you feel as though like it's true, like it's definite, even though it's only an interpretation that you got from something small. And then for shoulds, we have like personal rules on your behalf on how you think other people should act. And this can look like setting up standards that maybe your partner isn't on the same page with or doesn't even know about. So let's say you guys should have separate lives, but you think that your partner should always want to spend time with you. Like, oh, maybe every weekend. Why don't they want to spend time with me? Like they should. I feel that they should. So why don't they feel the same? And this can like build resentment. Like if you're on one side hoping that they would, or just you believe that they should already know this, then it can definitely build like dissatisfaction within your relationship. And then personalizing is where you think that whatever people your partner does is like a direct like jab at you, or like done because um, like you are the issue. Um, let's say your partner wants alone time, and you interpret that as, oh, they don't want to spend time with me anymore. They don't like me. And by taking things personally, you create conflict when there really shouldn't be, because you're assuming again that you're assuming something negative from something that is, I think, normal, at least in this case. Like your partner should want and have their own emotional space. And so for emotional fallacies, being able to recognize when you or even your partner commits them, and like stepping back beforehand to see the situation for what it is, and it will help you act in a way that isn't driven by like negative emotion or negative thought. So in a questionnaire study that assessed like harmful thinking patterns in adults, they found that relationship between loneliness and participant stress was completely mediated by mind reading, catastrophing, and institutionalizing. So these kinds of distortions have shown to contribute to stress, and this is relevant in relationships because I think these can happen like during arguments or just like on the individual on their own. However, recognizing them beforehand can really help you and your partner to think before reacting. So for conflict resolution, I want you guys to keep in mind for any future conflicts and how you can like better approach and handle these situations. We have supportive communication environments where you create a space with someone where you guys are open to share things as you feel like safe and respected by both of you guys. And we can use methods of like active listening where you and a partner's like feelings and thoughts are understood, and this can look like paraphrasing what they said, like and like asking questions to like really show to someone that you are paying attention and taking things into consideration. And this we can also use like confirming messages that help to validate what your partner is feeling. Like if if you didn't do the dishes, like let's say you made them upset, and you can be like, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right, that I I can see why you feel stressed and like unseen, and I want to like help you and like be better in that sense. With using clear and descriptive messages, we say like what we perceive without assuming anything. So let's say that you notice that again your partner has been hanging out with their friends more, instead of being like, oh, you're hanging out with your friends, you don't care about me. Instead we can say, hey, you've been hanging out more with your friends, and it makes and I just miss you. You first put your feelings and like set them on the table, and then with that you guys can like find a solution to help fix it together. It helps you see things more objectively and without like judgment and assumption, and it can reduce like communication or miscommunication between you guys. And then when approaching conflict, you should always have your intent and interest in mind. Like, what do you want to achieve when communicating with someone? So, like, instead of accusing them of things, you should own up to how you feel, because only you truly know how you feel. And being able to share your concern with someone, um, like it's something that can't be, or it can, but it's something that helps solution orientated conversations where you guys want to like come to an understanding with each other and find something that both works. It reduces like any defensiveness and judgment. So in conclusion, we review communication styles where there are like 5 different types, and hopefully you identified with one, and it helped give you a deeper understanding of yourself. And emotional fallacies, common ones seen in relationships, like what to be aware of and what to identify. Um, with conflict resolution, we also have actions to help practice and consider when figuring out conflict. We can come to like an understanding between all parties if done with care. And a concluding thought: intent is indispensable. It's the core of proper communication, and sometimes feelings can come first and distort our way of perceiving, but understanding how you and your partner feels or deals with conflict while also practicing methods for resolving conflict, it can lead to a place of strength and growth between you guys. All right. Thank you.